Okay, let's look at a building in Norway, in Oslo, and this is the Edvard Munch Museum. And the thing that you can get it up on your own phone, but this is the impact, the effect that I want to show you with regard to translation of force along planar surfaces. Now, when you've got movement generated from this direction travelling this way, can you see that's vibrating up and down there? And when you've got stratification in your cohesive field and it's vibrational, that you'll get resonant features. But when you've got something structured like this museum and you get a directional force, that it will send like along the interfaces, like you get light on a prism hit a colour, you send something down a face. And when you've got a cohesive vibrational field set up, you've got layers. You've almost got a stratigraphy of vibrational field and a cohesive field, and it gets confusing because you might have, in this field, you might have a compression wave moving over your city like this, and you can see it. But then, depending on time of day, you might have a standing wave over your city, and you might have fuchsia green, and compression waves with quite strong wave fronts, yeah? But they can stand still, and it can be fuchsia over one spot. And then you send force through it, and it's going to impact according to where your standing waves are and how cohesive your field is, yeah, and just how tight your nodal patterns are, yeah, because if this is a generator that's at a high frequency and you've got small nodals, that's going to make quite a dusty field. Now, when you want to make your field easier to live in, you open those up and choose a slower generator rhythm. And you reduce the amount of feed. The other thing that you do in a place like that is you go to your old maps and look for all your fault lines, and then you take off all your wiring that's sitting over fault lines that could be reactivated, because some fault lines, when the world was stable for a long time, didn't move and covered up, and then you could build over them. But when you start going into Ra by changing your sea and ice volumes and your ocean volumes, yeah, and you have rapid changes, you can reactivate old fault lines, and you should not string hot wire over those fault lines. So if you've got a reactivated fault line on your island in Japan or anywhere else, in Christchurch and anywhere in the world, and you have built an estate on top of it, you'll have to take it down, because you cannot have a live wire over an active fault. Okay? You can't do that. It's too dangerous. A lot of the lateral swing on that video was because the camera was up high and it was probably in a wind, and so that wasn't reflective of earth movement. But it doesn't matter. That was a fantastic piece of work. Now, one of the other things that is important for you to understand about earthquakes is that you can have ground acceleration, which is vertical. And when you go up and down and you don't swing left to right, you can break your neck, like in Marrakesh. So you have to be earthquake proof. You also have to be probably very cautious about where you are right now in a place like Japan or in a place like Christchurch, because those vertical accelerations break necks and send cars off the road. And right now, the world is re-establishing order, and you've got to be careful about these things. So earthquake-proof yourself, and only if you're in a shop, only put out what you need to put out for days' sales. Don't have displays of breakable bottles and things that fall off shelves for people to pick up, please.